Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and we are back with Dexter New Blood. We are back with a new episode of this new series. On to episode number 2 this time. I wrote episode number 3. I don't know why I haven't reached 3 yet. I'm on episode number 2 now. But the last one was a pretty solid series premiere. It was a really good intro to this new kind of story, and seeing where Dexter is at now, 10 years later, and seeing how far he's come and seeing what he's been up to. So he hasn't really been up to much besides from living like an actual normal life undercover, and I mean kind of undercover, but also like I think in the 10 years he hasn't really been killing. He's actually been staying away from killing and actually trying to keep himself stable and under control and everything, using a deer and a you know they're possibly loaded or unloaded rifle, but using the sniper scope to view the deer through the lens before letting it go and everything. So he's been using that deer to keep keep himself calm and to keep himself grounded and everything. So that's been a thing. And he's been around other people, and he's been forging connections in the small town of Iron Lake, I believe it's called. And he even has a girlfriend, Angela Bishop, played by Julia Jones. I actually discovered the actress's name. I actually googled the actress after I watched that episode. So this is Julia Jones, Leah from Twilight, and also Omera from The Mandalorian. So she is great. She is just great. So she plays Angela Bishop, a police officer, and also Dexter's kind of love interest slash girlfriend and stuff. So she's cool. So praying and hoping with the utmost kind of sincerity that she lives and she survives this season, and she survives this series and everything like that. So hopefully nothing bad happens to her. So there's that. But yeah, Dexter is living under the alias of James Jim Lindsay. People call him Jim, but he's living under the name of James Lindsay, which is like I think like like a sort of amalgamation of like different like kind of creators and stuff of the Dexter the Dexter book series and the Dexter TV series. So kind of paying a homage to them with this new reboot and everything. So that's cool. That he runs I think he runs the counter at a hunting shop. He sells kind of hunting equipment and guns and ammo and everything, and that does not bode well for him in this case. With one of his customers having been the gun-loving teenager, the gun-loving and problematic teenager, Matt Caldwell and everything. Yeah, Matt, he lasted one episode. But in that one episode, he gave Dexter plenty of reasons and motivation to actually kill him and to get over and done with everything. He was just like the most problematic dude. He had already killed someone once, and then his best friend covered for him, and his dad got his best friend out with, I think like a 1,000 or 2,000 kind of checks per week and like a Rolex and everything. So his best friend took the fall, and then his best friend, fell into a depression and everything. So he's been kind of dealing with his own shit. But then Matt just kind of gets off scot-free on almost everything. Also, having a rich dad too, he just gets off scot-free on everything, and he just kind of believes that rules either don't apply to him or that he can easily bend them and break them and just do all sorts of things. So he just sees himself as the king of some kind of imaginary molehill, and he saw himself. Past tense, he saw himself as a king. Then he killed Dexter's deer. Dexter actually decided to approach, like just the one time Dexter actually decides to approach and be nurturing and be careful with the deer and everything, and then Matt decides to put a fucking bullet in it and celebrates that as some kind of victory or win or something. So that was the last straw for Dexter. Then he knocked Matt's ass out, and then he took him to his own very improvised kill room and stabbed him. So he was his first kill in 10 years, his first kill in 10 absolute years. So yeah, I mean, I think again, like looking back, it was really like an interesting way to go to actually having like given him 10 years to live his life the way he wanted, and then actually throwing in and then throwing in his face a teenager who gave him literally every reason and every kind of possible kind of desire and drive to actually kill him and to rid the world of that kind of a mentality and everything. So that was interesting. So we had that. We had Harrison, his son Harrison, all grown up. Harrison played by a presumably completely different actor. He was all grown up in the story. And he managed to track Dexter down to Iron Lake and tracked them down and actually found him. But then Dexter, also fun fact about Dexter, he's also living with Deborah in his head. Deborah is his new mental hallucination of his thoughts and his desires and everything, but now she's the one keeping him from actually, in this case, she was the one keeping him from actually revisiting his old life, or actually allowing his old life to seep into his new one. And then as soon as he tried to approach Harrison, Deborah showed up and reminded him what happens when the people close to him get too caught up in the tangle of his life. So then Dexter had to very, very temporarily pretend that he didn't know who he was talking about, and that he didn't really know who Harrison was and everything. So there was that. But then by the end of the episode, he did. I think I put up by the end of the episode, when things had changed and he had become a bit more of who he used to be again, he did finally kind of let Harrison in, and he did finally take him home and actually decide to do things there. So now going forward, I think now we hopefully we see some rekindling of Dexter and Harrison's kind of relationship, and just seeing what Harrison's been up to all these years, and if Hannah's still alive, and you know, like what he's learned, what he's been told, all that kind of stuff. So some history is expected here and there, so that'll be fun too. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. I'm pretty sure that's mostly it. I think we have the rich guy too, the rich guy who is who is Matt's dad, who's gonna, you know, probably launch some kind of investigation into his son being missing, and then actually that's gonna be a big new thing. But he's already not really liked by too many of the youth in the town. Like his I think his company, or like his activities kind of are very, very damaging towards the outside world and towards stuff like climate change and everything. So the people are more than happy to protest outside of his meeting places and actually make their voices heard. So that's cool. And he's played by the same guy who played Azazel on Supernatural. So again, already know not to trust him. So yeah, fun stuff. A very fun intro. So can't wait to see how things are going forward and everything. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from the first one. So on to episode number 2 of Dexter New Blood, onto the reaction. And as you guys will know by now, this one will just be the fair use version, but the full-length version, where you can watch the entire reaction and episode along with each other, unedited and uncut, will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. But yeah, that is pretty much it. So on to episode number 2. Let's go.
What do I say?
Hi, how you doing?
What can I possibly say to the son I abandoned?
Oh, probably not hi, how you doing then? Yeah.
You got big.
Oh, God. Well, that kind of happens in 10 years. It kind of happens when you know, put the years on a person.
Maybe a sandwich. One sandwich. Coming right up.
Whatever you want in that sandwich. PB&J, ham and cheese, tuna and sweet corn. He loves tuna. Dexter loves his tuna. Oh, new bowling squad.
Yeah, we got second place at the Harvest Fest tournament last year.
So he still kept up his bowling then? Still kept up his bowling.
Cool. Hannah showed you the letter.
No. I found it when she died.
Hannah's dead.
How?
Cancer?
Oh, cancer.
Pancreatic.
So no Yvonne Strahovski then. No Yvonne Strahovski coming back. Hannah, oh god, fucking damn it. Okay.
A social worker put me on a plane from Buenos Aires to Miami.
He went back to Miami.
Bounced around a bunch of shitty foster homes.
Oh god, Harrison.
When I was a teenager.
Oh fuck.
Finally, I decided to find you. You know how many Jim Lindsays there are on the internet?
How many?
Kind of the point.
Oh, so there's a lot.
And I found a shot
there's a
of you
lot of them.
on Instagram.
Dexter had to die.
What are you talking about?
It's a long story.
Well, he's 15 now. He's at least he's matured somewhat. You'll give him like a base level explanation. That much he's at least owed. And then it's his choice whether he stays or leaves, obviously. Is that Deborah? That's Deborah with a bullet.
Stop. It'll keep me from killing again.
Oh. Oh.
You selfish psycho.
Oh boy.
You emotionally handicapped, crazy fuck. You will sure as shit fuck him up.
Oh god. He's swallowing the bullet. He's just swallowing the bullet. Oh. So yeah, going storm of fuck. That's appropriate. Going back to the first episode's one, I found out that each clip they showed was actually a preview of what was about to happen in the episode. So what we just saw is about to take place throughout the rest of this episode too. So it's I guess it's neat, kind of. I mean, maybe some of it might be seen as spoilery, but overall it seems okay. Wine and chocolate. Do you have someone over? Is that why there's wine and chocolate? Or is that just like for you? Yeah, wine. Oh, champagne and chocolate. Champagne and chocolate. I thought it was wine and chocolate. Champagne and chocolate, even better. Oh, was it chocolate strawberries? Oh. Okay. See, I don't really trust. I don't trust people who cover fruit in chocolate. I don't really trust them. I don't. I really don't. No. I don't know how I feel about that. Who's watching her? Who the hell is watching her? Someone was watching her through a camera, possibly hidden. That's just creepy. Yeah, chocolate covered strawberries, chocolate covered raisins. I've never liked them. I've never really liked them. Just.
This is what happens when I give in to my dark passage.
Blood. Is there blood left over from Matt?
You can set up by the fire pit. The searchers can stay warm. I'll get some coffee going. Breakfast too, if you want.
You're a godsend. By the fire pit, guys!
Great. Yeah, just helping the cops find the person he killed. Yeah. Yeah.
Jim, and this is...
Harrison, Jim's son.
Jim's son.
Son.
Yes, Jim. Yes,
Add
Jim.
that to the list of things I need to clean up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to Iron Lake, Harrison.
Yes.
I'm Angela.
Yeah, Jim has a son, a grown teenage son. Yeah, not like a baby one that just came by. Yeah, a teenage one.
Search for any sign of Matt. We'll do 2-hour shifts, then we'll return to base camp to warm up and pick a new grid. Oh, and stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's actually still good, yeah. Leave cold or hot weather, you want to stay hydrated.
The terrain gets rough. My RTV will get through it faster.
Okay, fine. You and your son can take it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ouch.
Yeah. You know what? She fully reserves the right to be salty. She fully reserves the right to be salty. He kept something like that from her, and yeah. Oh, chocolate strawberry's not good. Seriously, what was in that champagne or whatever? Was it the champagne? Was it outdated champagne? Maybe too much champagne. You know, you drink a lot, you chug a lot. Oh, but who the fuck is watching her? Is this some kind of hidden camera type shit? Because I think she's in a motel, right? Or like, is she in? She can't be in the shelter. Because if she's in the shelter, that's a dodgy fucking shelter.
And that climate change denying oil baron persona that people are all too happy to pin on me, it ignores all of the good I do, all of my charity work, the supplies I donate every year to keep that reservation medical clinic running, the food during the holidays.
It's very much appreciated.
Where did I screw up?
Edward Olsen. Oh yeah, you remember that? Oh, so it was his head banged on the rock. That's where the blood came from. Is he gonna bleach the? Oh, he's gonna bleach. I thought he was gonna bleach the snow for a second. Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
So he leaves the glove out here, and they find it. Oh, but maybe they find it further away from his actual area. Yeah, so they kind of think he headed out of the forest and found his way somewhere else. Yeah.
But there's no evidence tying Matt to this deer. So we'll process the scene, which you're all trampling right now, so please back up.
Why does my girlfriend have to be such a good cop?
For now, the search for Matt goes on, including...
Oh, hey, you never know.
your
Might end up
on-site
working out in
delay.
your favor. Maybe.
Even after he did this.
If he did this.
When one of our girls goes missing, runaways always come back. After Iris, you of all people should know.
Iris.
Things are different in Ireland now.
You're gonna have to pick a side.
Oh, boy.
Harrison was great, by the way.
Good job.
It's no big deal.
Already getting along with his dad's girlfriend. That's great. Happened with Hannah, now it's happening again with Angela.
I just found this about a mile down the trail, right before I got to
The highway.
Thank you, Fred Jr.
Thank you, Fred Jr.
magnificent outdoorsman.
Yep.
Chicken shit cut and ran.
Harrison, the high school just got out, so the students are joining the search. Maybe you can meet some kids your own age.
That'd be
Maybe
great.
so. Maybe even Audrey.
We'll see you back there.
Is Harrison actually going to join the school? Is he, if he's going to stay in Iron Lake, is he going to have to? I mean, he might have to because he's a teenager still. You know, I think he still needs to be in some form of education, so he might have to. So, will he end up joining Iron Lake High or whatever, or college or whatever?
Hey, you want to help me with the goats?
The goats. Probably not the greatest of all time. So hey, these goats are the goats. They are the greatest goats of all time.
You're good with animals.
We had a goat back in Argentina.
Oh, you did?
Sheep and chickens too.
Oh, they had a farm.
We miss them.
They had a whole farm. Yeah, like father, like son.
What's the black one's name?
I've just been calling him Goat.
Goat.
Haven't gotten around to properly naming him, I guess.
Goat the
What was
goat.
your goat's name?
Vincent.
Vincent.
Vincent Van Gogh.
Ah, Vincent Van Gogh.
Meet Vincent Van Gogh II.
The second. Yeah, the successor. The successor. Oh, yeah, he takes a shine. He already takes a shine. Vincent Van Gogh II. So is he really gonna fit in well then? Is he gonna be able to socialize well with the other kids? I mean, he's not. I mean, I don't even know if we can actually call him an outcast because we haven't seen what he's like in his teenage years.
You are gonna fail this boy 1,000 different ways because of it!
You see Dexter just having a fucking breakdown in his car.
Peace. I wish.
Oh god. Oh god. Okay, where's the camera? Where's the hidden camera? There's gotta be a hidden camera, right? Yeah, oh yeah, it's hidden in the lights, you creepy fuck. Who's watching her? Who's actually watching her? Are they in the same building at least? Are they? Who's watching her? Can't even tell if I know their eyes. Like, I feel like I should be able to tell their eyes.
Looks like my work's done here. I better get back to Harrison.
Harrison's with Audrey on the search. They're fine. You and I, on the other hand, need to talk.
Yeah,
We
you
need
should
to talk. Word you never want to hear from your doctor or your girlfriend.
Yeah, either one of those. Yeah, one of them is healthily beneficial. Yeah, the other one depends. You're gonna pick the lock. Oh damn.
Mom is really not gonna like you.
Well, I think the kids are though. If you can get them into spots like this, yeah, the kids are.
I'm not Audrey's birth mother.
Oh.
Oh, she's adopted. Okay.
You adopted her?
Yeah.
Did you ever look for the birth mom?
I've spent pretty much my entire adult life looking for missing women. But one who abandons her own baby? Bugger.
I mean, you don't know her side of the story entirely, so I don't know if that's entirely fair to say, but...
You make it sound so easy.
I'm also gonna have to enroll him in school.
Yeah,
Obviously.
again.
And to get him some real winter clothes. Probably gonna need a car. College apps are coming up, so add tutors and exam prep.
You're gonna need to build him a
Harrison's been here
life.
less than a day, and now I'm talking about college prep.
Yeah, he's gonna need a life.
Dating.
Yeah.
Are you a Mormon? I kind of have a history with drugs.
You do?
Got clean a couple years ago, though. But actually, my mom died when I was really young, and my stepmom died of cancer a couple years ago.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, nothing but loss in
Was
his
your mom
life.
Either way, dude's weird. And we're trapped in an abandoned cabin in the woods with him.
Stop watching slasher films.
Saying we know nothing about him.
Okay, and this is called privacy.
So he's actually good at something, unlike the two of you.
Very good at stuff.
Pinning half-naked guys to mats.
Wrestling is an Olympic sport, Audrey.
So is
Okay, I was wondering like how the hell that description worked.
Hello?
Did the doorknob disappear?
Hello? Is anyone there?
Did the doorknob disappear? You're already dead. So is this some kind of like a murder hotel then? The people get let in and then they just die?
I didn't know where you were. It's dangerous out there. You have no idea.
No, stop. I've heard it all before. How many times do I have to tell you? I'm not Iris.
Who is Iris? What happened to Iris?
Why did you leave us? Was it because of what you wrote in the letter?
What I wrote?
What was in the letter? I don't think we actually heard of a letter before. I don't think we...
Reach out to me if Harrison shows any dark tendencies.
Dark tendencies. If there's a...
Dark tendencies?
If there's a dark passenger in him...
What does that mean? What did you see in me?
Nothing bad.
Himself.
You were perfect.
Stop acting like you're such an evil person. I don't remember a lot, but all of my memories of you were good.
Because he saved all the good for you.
Was
He saved all the good for you. What was the worst thing he ever did?
leave me.
Okay. Makes sense. Thought it was like he left him at school one day or something.
For a while.
Great.
Oh wow, that's probably how long this season will last, so... yeah. Oh.
Regular pancakes wouldn't be completely out of the question.
Regular pancakes sound good.
Regular pancakes, yes. You know what? Blueberry in pancakes? I actually like the sound of that. Blueberry pancakes, you know, fruit in that kind of thing. I can see that.
You don't have to enjoy the win so much. You smug fuck.
Oh, God. Mentor Deborah is very pissed off. Clancy Brown! Clancy Brown, he's in this. I think I saw him in the trailer. I think I vaguely remember seeing him in the trailer.
Angela?
Clancy Brown's in this. Mr. Krabs.
Kurt, we've been trying to contact you for hours.
Oh, is he the dad? He's the dad, not the rich guy. He's the dad.
What?
Kurt.
What crime?
Kurt Caldwell.
On reservation land.
I mean, come on. Half your kids grew up working at my truck stop. This is Iron Lake.
Great.
We look out for each other. Do not give up on my son now. Now when he needs us the most.
Matt's out there. I know it. I'm gonna find him. It's the last thing I do. No stone will go unturned.
Some stones will go unturned.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah, oh, that's his head. That's his head in that one bag, yeah. Oh boy. Oh, good diggity. Okay. Michael C. Hall indeed. So, yeah, interesting second episode. So, yeah, as expected, plenty of kind of, plenty. I think plenty can be used there. Plenty of history and backstory with Harrison as to what's been happening these past few years, and nothing good. Honestly, nothing good. Nothing. He has not been up to anything good. He's interesting in the sense that stuff did happen and it's been eventful, but honestly, nothing good, nothing really beneficial, nothing positive. Like no positive experiences that he can really talk about or anything he can really celebrate. He's just gone through so much and he's come so far, and then he's finally home with his dad and everything. So that much is celebratable. That much is celebration worthy. So there's that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Harrison's like 15 at this point. I think he definitely seems like, you know, he's like at a push he might just be entering his 20s. I think at a push. And I think it's also because, again, like, I think as with most, if not all, TV shows, especially ones like these, I think I don't know about the more light-hearted kind of comedy teen shows or whatever that they do, but I think especially like for teen dramas and for dramas like this where they cast teenagers, I think more often than not they actually do end up casting people between the ages of 20 and 25 to play people who are below the age of 25 and stuff. And it used to confuse me. I think the more I kind of found out about it, the more I actually kind of noticed it, and the more that, you know, people kind of started reporting that, oh yeah, more and more TV shows are actually, you know, casting people in their 20s and people hitting 30 to play, you know, early 20-year-olds and late teens. I was like, but, you know, can they really not find any actual teenagers to actually do this, or is there is there like a specific reason they're casting so like high up the age range or something? And then it's like, you know, like especially like for shows like these, like for crime dramas and even for young teen dramas, like some of the young teen dramas they do like 13 Reasons and like Euphoria, like the ones where they like explore really super duper heavy and really mature kind of topics and everything. Like they want to make sure that the actors themselves are mature enough and old enough and of like a legal age to actually handle that kind of like those themes and those kind of things. And especially for this one, there's being like a murder mystery, mature adult drama thing, like they want to make sure that all the actors, you know, hired for this are actually over legal age to actually deal with stuff like this, and they're actually able to handle this kind of stuff. So then because of that, they actually do try and kind of hire like a bit older but still kind of like a believable age. And I think Harrison still, at first glance, I might say he's babyface, but then now that we had like an entire episode with him in it, I think that like the more you look at him, it's like the more you... he doesn't really remind me. Honestly, he doesn't really remind me that much of the young Harrison. He really doesn't remind me of that much of the young him. And it's not just like the hair color being different and the face being different. It's like, you know, like I think it might just be me and my inability to actually age people properly in my head, but then I really can't put the two pictures of young Harrison and present day Harrison together and actually manage to morph them into the same person. Like I just can't really do that. So that's just like one kind of like I don't know if it's a gripe, but I think it's just one kind of setback for me. But either way, he just looks really, really different. I think he definitely kind of like fits into like the teenage kind of models. I think you know, I think he, like the actor himself could easily be pushing 20, or he might just be like in his late teens or something. So he might just be lucky enough to still be able to still play like a mid-teenager. I think he is meant to be 15, because I think he did say he's not 5 anymore. So I think that may well have been 5. I think seems like a reasonable guess to make as to when he last saw Dexter in the finale. And I think it was pretty much directly in that finale episode that he actually last saw Dexter. And I think it's pretty reasonable to say that he actually was 5 in that episode too. So, you know, now 10 years later, you know, he would be 15. So so yeah, so he is essentially like he is a mid-teenager. He's 15 years old, and he still managed to travel all the way out here, and he's been hunting his dad down, and he's been investigating and doing leads and everything. So gonna have to go back and actually watch that scene again to see how he came across the name Jim Lindsay, because I think he mentioned, like, I admittedly I was kind of talking over it, but then he actually did mention how he came across the name Jim Lindsay. But then he looked it up in Iron Lake, and he looked it up online, but they're like a ton of different Jim Lindsays in the area alone. So that's what I mean. Even Dexter's kind of in a narration, kind of like, yeah, that's what made it so easy. Like, no one would ever be able to actually, hopefully no one would ever be able to find him, because he picked such a common freaking name like Jim Lindsay. So it's such a textbook name that he easily blended in. But then of course he came across he became lucky when he stumbled across a bowling picture, found Dexter tagged in it, and one of his crewmates, one of his teammates actually bragging about his 300 bowling score. So yeah, so he found him that way and stuff. So there's that. And I think he so I think I'll get to the other stuff in a minute. So yeah, and then the sad news. Oh, the sad news. Fair to say, any kind of hopes of seeing Yvonne Strahovski returning as Hannah Mckay just got yeeted right out the window. Like, as soon as he said that, it just got yeeted right out the window. So Hannah's gone. Hannah is dead. Hannah died. She got pancreatic cancer, and she died. I think he mentioned that she died 3 years ago. She died 3 years ago. So so I think he would definitely be of like a much younger age to actually enter the system at that point too. So he got a fair few kind of good years in with her before she died. But then he also would have been with her when she was sick too, because then he was with her the entire time. So he easily would have been with her when she was sick, and he would have just been by her side watching her die every day. I think he didn't really even do the only reference we got was Hannah being dead and her dying 3 years ago, and then it being pancreatic cancer. So we know it was of natural causes too. So so then we got that, but then I think it being a cancer too. Cancer is like a long kind of enduring kind of disease too. So I think likelihood is he watched her die all those years too. He actually watched her kind of wither away and grow worse, and hoping she would get better, but then just not. And then eventually one day she really didn't get better. So then just knowing he's been through that too, first his dad up and disappears on him, so he's left with Hannah. I mean, Hannah, who he loves, but still he's left with Hannah, who likely would not give him any answers either. Like Hannah knows how important it was to Harrison that Harrison remember him as the fun-loving kind of dad that he was, and he'd not know about Dexter's true life or his secrets or anything like that. So then Hannah would make sure that those secrets never came to light in Harrison's eyes. So all that stuff kind of comes apart and everything. So then and then after that, she gets ill, and then I think deep down she maybe has that fear too, that she's slowly dying, and she herself doesn't even feel like she's getting better. So then she knows that one day she's gonna go, and then Harrison's not gonna have anyone. So God only knows how she felt during that time too. So yeah, Hannah's gone. Hannah is dead. That was actually heartbreaking to hear. That was it actually took me aside. Hannah died. Hannah died, because I mean, I was then wondering, I think I was like, they better not take her out with a murder or something. They better not have someone kill her either intentionally or even in some kind of crossfire thing. But then it's oh, she died, so they go, tell me she died at least peacefully, and tell me she died at least kind of happy, and she died okay. And then it's oh, pancreatic cancer. It's well, cancer sucks. So definitely not just not an easy way or a good way to actually go out. So yeah, just wow. Hannah's dead. I actually can't believe that they actually killed her. So then, I mean, in terms of behind the scenes stuff, I then don't know if they either couldn't bring her back, or if she didn't wait, if Yvonne Strahovski didn't want to come back, or if they didn't want to bring her back. Maybe, because then I haven't truth be told, I think even from the day that this series was announced, and even when Michael C. Hall was actually confirmed to be returning, I think I didn't really, I think I did, I think back then I do remember actually blocking some kind of like actually going back to muting several kind of keywords related to that too, actually to try to make sure that the sequel itself like kind of stayed spoiler free for me. So I think it was either because of that or because anyone else that they did get was kind of kept under wraps, but I really didn't hear about any kind of returning cast members either. So I think that's why I think the Deborah's kind of thing was such a big kind of thing for me too. So yes, I think because then I felt like anyone who was returning, they would literally they would kind of like to actually raise awareness and to actually kind of get people hyped up to see Dexter again. Like they'd actually remind them, oh if you love this fan favorite character from the old show, then good news, they're returning now. But then, for one thing, I never saw it. But then I definitely never saw it for Hannah either. So again, don't know if either she didn't want to come back, or maybe if the studio didn't want to go, if the studio or if the producers of the new one didn't really want to bring her back, so then maybe they just chose to kill her off or something. So then that just kind of sucks too. I think I think the point of that might just be oh, not everyone gets a happy ending, and some people still die because from these diseases, and then they die very quickly, and they die slow, or they die slowly, but then their death can also be very sudden. So it's just kind of it's a part of life. It just happens. So hopefully Hannah died, with good memories of her and Harrison, and her and Dexter too. Hopefully she died kind of, still remembering Dexter and still kind of loving Harrison as her own son and everything. I think I would want to see, maybe, I really would hope if they, at this point it would be the only way to actually bring her back, but I think, I really hope that maybe at some point down the line we can actually see if Harrison might actually try and reminisce and remember his different memories of Hannah, maybe in Argentina or even in Miami, the life they lived together in Dexter's absence and everything, and maybe the life they tried to make together, and the life they tried to make to work together. So I don't know, but flashbacks and memories would be the only way to actually bring her back at this point, so maybe we'll see that. But yeah, Hannah Mckay is gone. Hannah Mckay said, it's going to take me a while to actually process that. I think saying it over and over again, I thought that would maybe help, but it really hasn't. It's actually taken a while to actually sink in, oh, Hannah Mckay is gone. Hannah's dead. She died 3 years ago of pancreatic cancer, so I don't even know. I do not know. I don't know. So R.i.p. to Hannah. R.i.p. to Hannah Mckay. And he did, I think Harrison did mention to the kids later on that he actually had some issues and stuff with drugs, and I think he'd been clean for 2 years, or he got clean 2 years ago, so I think he was 2 years sober from drugs. So I wonder when that happened too, it happened, when it happened, but it stopped happening 2 years ago. He got clean 2 years ago, but then I wonder when it happened. I guess it's not uncommon. I think maybe from all that he was going through, first losing his mother as a child was traumatic enough, and then losing his dad later on down the line too, and then not many years after that losing his stepmother as well. And losing his Aunt Deb. This kid has just fucking lost. Jesus, this kid has lost people. He lost his mother. His father left him. His aunt died, and then his stepmother died later on down the line too. He's known nothing but people leaving him. He's known nothing but people kind of leaving his life over and over and over again. And then even and then he said he was actually taken back from his social. I think his social worker took him back from Buenos Aires to Miami, and then he just kept on bouncing from foster home to foster home, because apparently no one likes teenagers. So he just kept bouncing from family to family and everything. So there was that. So I think it's not entirely uncommon for people during any kind of depression, whatsoever, depression or anxiety whatsoever, especially during grief and during any other kind of mental pressures he's kind of succumbed to in his mind during this time. It's not uncommon for them to maybe kind of succumb to some kind of substance abuse or drug addiction or something. So I think addiction itself does have some other kind of components that aren't really kind of deniable, and they need actual kind of medical attention and actual proper legitimate kind of attention, and not judgment or anything like that. So there's that whole thing. But Harrison, I think Harrison fell down that rabbit hole, and I think, I mean, we don't know how bad it was. We don't know what kind of drugs, how bad it was. Like if it was, like super duper detrimental. Maybe if that's one of the reasons he kept bouncing around, or maybe if that's like if he got into his if he fell down that rabbit hole once he actually started being fostered. But then that's like another reason that that families didn't want him, because he was problematic in that way too, maybe. Or because then maybe I wonder, maybe then if he might have been homeless for a while too, maybe if more than one bad thing happened to him, but then this is the only one he's really mentioning, because then I can't imagine if he's actually bouncing from foster home to foster home, he'd really be in the kind of environment where he would have access to that. I feel like it's only if he's homeless and or like left his own devices completely out on the streets, then that's when he meets people and he sees people and he actually starts to gain accessibility to all these different things. So just Harrison's been through it. Harrison has absolutely been through it. So this is finally finding his dad, the one actual member of his family who's actually still alive, is the one good thing that's happened to him. So poor Harrison, he's lost, and he's tried to drug the pain away and everything. So poor Harrison. So yeah, little kind of course and character correction thing. I thought the rich dude played by the Azazel guy from Supernatural, I thought he would be the father. I thought, because we didn't really see anyone else who looked like a father. I think that guy looked old enough to be a father. He looked like he looked like he easily could have been the rich dad of some entitled kind of arsehole kid that Matt Caldwell definitely was. But then I thought, it didn't really strike me. It didn't really hit me until now. But wait, he's Matt Caldwell, and the other guy is Edward Olsen. So I think unless he's adopted, or unless something else happened, it wouldn't really make much sense. But I think it definitely kind of lined up to him being like Matt being the kid that kind of gets away with stuff. And I think especially because Bill the friend was actually getting those 1,000 to 2,000 checks a week and everything. So I think it must have been some guy who could actually afford it, and some guy who could easily kind of let that money go, or even get up a Rolex too. So I think Kurt played by Clancy Brown he doesn't look rich, but I mean not to say he doesn't look like he has any no money whatsoever, but I think he still doesn't. I think for him it looks more like he's actively kind of saving up, or actually actively working harder to actually keep to actually keep Bill kind of covering for Matt for Matt in that instance too. Whereas with if it was Edward, then it would just be him actively going out of his way to be don't worry, I can pay for anything you want, I can give you all this money, I can give you my Rolex, I can do this, that and the other, I'm a rich guy, I can afford this, I can drop in the bucket for me. So he definitely gave off that kind of vibe. So and we never officially even actually met or heard of his dad being anyone else until this episode. So yeah, not in fact Edward Olsen, but rather Kurt Caldwell. So there's that. So, but Edward Olsen is still he's still like an overly rich dude. He's still he's Audrey called him like a petro billionaire, he's an oil baron. He's a climate change denying oil baron. Apparently, is the label that people like to thrust on him. So he likes to damage the environment with his work, and he ignores protesters, and he ignores signs and warnings and words from other people, and he just kind of makes money off of exploiting land and resources and all that kind of stuff. So he's that kind of guy. And I think even his speech towards Angela in the end, people like to say this, that, and the other about me, but then they say all this without actually taking into account all the good things I've done, actually donating to the Seneca land, donating to the medical center, giving vehicles and resources and all this kind of stuff, and actually doing all the good I've done. So they know all the good I've done, and then call me this, that, and the other. So I think, I think off the bat I can't really see if there's anything really wrong with the phrasing of that, but then I think it's also maybe intentionally so, his delivery of that too is him maybe being okay, on the one hand the stuff that they're saying is right, but then I've done all this good stuff too, and I've done it so that people will shut up about the bad stuff I've done, but then they're not doing that, so then maybe you can actually help shut them up and actually keep them focused on all the good stuff I've done while I do this bad stuff in the background. It definitely had that kind of vibe to it, oh yeah, I have done this bad stuff and I likely will continue doing it because it makes me money, but then to actually try and play good Samaritan or whatever, I'm gonna do all this good stuff on the side and try and have people focus on that while I do this shady stuff in the background. Like it definitely had that kind of energy to it. So don't really have good feelings about him in general. Like even if he's not even if he's not overly a villain, or like I feel like he's definitely gonna be like an antagonist because of who he is and what he can do and because of what he is too. So he's definitely gonna have that kind of future about him where he just like he can use his money to get in and out of anything. He can easily use his status and his power to do anything he wants. I think that might get in the way of like a lot of different things, and it's very easily gonna piss quite a few of the characters off and everything. So even if he's not like some kind of hardcore murderous villain or something, he's definitely still kind of it definitely still feels like he's gonna be some kind of an asshole who is either minorly attached to the main kind of murder plot going on, or when it comes, of course, or he's just going to be some guy who gets in the way and who just kind of constantly bends the rules and who constantly just uses whatever resources he has at his disposal and gets away with things. So yeah, Kurt Caldwell did show up in the end. Clancy Brown, played by Clancy Brown. I do remember. I think I watched the teaser trailer. And I think he did. I think that one had towards the end of it actually had like a few kind of blink and you'll miss it kind of moments. And I think one of them was definitely was actually Dexter and Kurt actually standing together in one of the shots and everything. So there was that. So I think he is playing the father. He's playing Kurt Caldwell, and he's the very kind of like the kind of angsty, kind of stress-ridden father who just desperately wants to find his son and take him home and everything. So he's that. I think even his kind of dialogue too, like him being like Matt was not a perfect kid, sure, and he's made a lot of mistakes with his life, and I think he also will not. I don't know, because like. I feel like he also will not seem like too much of a bad guy, but then he's also just going to be the guy who either overlooks all the stuff that Matt has done, or him being the father, him being the kind of parent that's kind of that maybe him being the parent that maybe somewhat kind of feels obligated to his son too, because I think even the way even the way that Matt described him too, like because Matt said his mother died when he was young, but then his father was never around. His father was always working, so he had like a shitty childhood. He didn't really care. His father neglected him a lot, which actually his father neglected him a lot, which led him down his path. So I think I'm wondering maybe if in the next episode, if in the next episode we get a lot more of him, then maybe we might get his side of the story too. Maybe him, like for him, like he maybe it's gonna be like the kind of thing where it's like because I think oftentimes they have it where it's like like one person feels like the other person left them or abandoned them, but then the other person feels like, oh, like I need to process or grieve in my own way, so I left you alone and I kind of went my own way or stuff. So I'm thinking maybe that might be the way it goes for Kurt too, like maybe him feeling like maybe him feeling like he needs to throw himself into his work, or he needs to actually do something else to occupy his mind, and maybe it's going to be a case of like, oh, every time I looked at Matt I remembered her, so then I remembered her, and then that hurt. So it could be anything. But I think hopefully come next episode we actually might see Kurt's kind of side of the story and how he kind of raised Matt in the wake of his wife's death and everything, and seeing how maybe if he knows that him being neglectful, okay, maybe like seeing if he knows like that him being this neglectful of Matt actually led him down this path of getting away with stuff and doing really dodgy stuff and trying to impress other people and all that kind of things, or what's gonna happen. But he ran the town. He believed enough in Iron Lake and it being a small town with connected people to actually try and rally the people through that as well. Like even him saying every time you've needed us, we've been there. We've actually helped you with your shops and your businesses and your families and everything. So Iron Lake is a small town and it's well connected for a reason, and it's because it's a small town. So we all help each other when necessary and stuff. So. Yeah, 1 minute they managed to kind of shut down the search and actually go further into the investigation with enough kind of evidence to gloss over and everything, and now Kurt waltzes in, and then the search is back up again. He's actually rallied the people together again as well, so yeah, that's fun. That's great. And then there's Iris too. There's the Seneca runaway too. So I think it was on Seneca land, on reservation land, that Matt had killed the buck deer and left it behind too. So I think that became its own kind of controversy. So there was that thing, and then of course I think the Seneca people being kind of around the deer and actually investigating and actually kind of trying to find out what happened and who caused it, and then of course Dexter coming along and conveniently planting the idea of Matt Caldwell having done it in their heads, kind of gets them thinking and being all riled up and everything. So then even that one line of like, you know, oh, Seneca girls run away, and it's like, oh, runaways always come back, but then, you know, Matt Caldwell, the rich white kid, goes missing, and then it's like, oh yeah, we have to get like a search party on this, we have to do this, that, and the other, we have to get him back, and there's no other way he could possibly find his way back home safe and sound ever again, unless we, you know, specifically find him and everything. So I think that kind of line of dialogue kind of hits hard too. And then even in the end, Angela being told, like, you know, like one day she's gonna have to pick a side too. So I think, you know, I think because of that too, I think Angela, I think, like, all the more gives off that kind of like her own vibe of, like, you know, someone who maybe even someone who someone who herself like she herself could have been mistreated by the system, but then she's also been watching her own people being mistreated by the system. So then maybe her kind of line of thinking, which isn't really uncommon, is like, you know, thinking maybe by being inside the system she can change it for the better. Maybe like actually being a woman of her background, a woman of her culture, of her heritage and everything, being in the system can actually change it and actually be like a more kind of positive kind of force for good, and like a force for representation and for justice as well, and actually finding justice for her own people, and finding like for finding it for pretty much anyone who doesn't get it because of who they are or where they come from and stuff. But then being told to pick a side too, I think it kind of leaves her with that inner conflict of, like, you know, on the one hand she really does want to be that change, she really does want to actually be the person that changes things for the better and shows people that, you know, change can happen, and that, you know, that kind of power can be good in the right hands and that it can actually do good. But then, you know, there are still the other people who are rightfully bitter and rightfully angry too, and they don't really kind of like trust anyone who wears that uniform or carries that badge or fights in the name of that kind of role in society. So then he's kind of told, like, you know, like you either, you know, work with us to, you know, fight for our justice our own way, or you work with the system that ignores us and pushes us down, and sometimes even becomes responsible for whatever happens to us. So seeing how that's going to be explored in this in the story is going to be interesting too. Seeing, I think that's all the more reason, or I think that is all the more reason that I actually want Angela to live, to be able to actually fight, to be able to actually reach the end of the story, to actually find some kind of peaceful resolution, to be the one that's able. I want her to be the one that's able to actually inflict justice, and actually find justice and enact it, and to actually kind of fight crime and do what she wanted to do when she first joined the force and everything, and actually being able to accomplish her mission and being shown to be like a stronger force and a stronger person because of it. So really hoping then they actually let her do that and don't just end up killing her off halfway through or something. So here's hoping, fingers crossed, Angela lives and she gets the kind of peace and justice she actually is fighting for and everything. So hopefully. But then Iris was mentioned. I think Iris was name dropped a couple of times. I think I can only imagine she's like a Seneca runaway who either was ignored for, I think maybe like someone who was ignored for so long that she then ended up dead. But then had they actually put some effort into her investigation, then they probably would have found her earlier and stuff. And maybe like she could have easily been like another girl who did run off, but then she, you know, found herself in trouble, and then no one was around to help, and then she died or something. So then Iris is kind of known. Like I think that name drop has happened like enough times for it to be like a significant kind of case too. Like maybe significant in terms of like how badly it was handled, but then also maybe because of how recent it could have been too. Maybe if it was a more recent case, maybe that combined with like an actual lack of case supervision or authority or something. So there's that. So Iris, she was yet another runaway who was ignored by the system. So there's that too. So I think I want to talk quickly about Dexter's note to Hannah too. So I think Dexter actually wrote like I don't know if it was a short letter or if it was just like some kind of extract or excerpt that Dexter, I think the Harrison read from. I think it must be the latter, because I think he specifically kind of skimmed the page and actually tried to pick out the specific sentence that actually bothered him the most about it. So I think it might have been a long enough kind of letter. But I think he actually wrote a letter too. I think that kind of surprised me, because I think we never really got a letter in the finale or even in the premiere. So S1E2, so he actually wrote like a letter to Hannah at some point, but presumably at some point, and then in that letter, the most enticing and most kind of thought-provoking piece of dialogue in there was actually him warning Hannah to look out for any dark tendencies in Harrison. So from day one, then he was still kind of like, even with him being out of the picture, he was still concerned with Harrison possibly having a dark passage of his own, actually kind of like it being formed from something. Because I think for him, yeah, I mean, for something more, no, because I mean, Harrison did go through exactly the same thing, albeit at a much younger age. Harrison did go through the exact same thing that Dexter did, just in like a more open space, and like at a much younger age, where his brain wasn't formed enough to actually create those kind of traumas and memories or anything. So, you know, so he did go through the exact same things. And I think that piled along with other stuff too. Like he wanted to make sure that that Hannah knew to look out for that, and to actually make sure that it didn't really manifest or really grow within him like some kind of like a cancer or something. So. Oh, yeah, oh god, that terrible choice of words. I'm sorry, terrible choice of words. But either way, he wanted Hannah to keep an eye out for that. But then, of course, Harrison found the note, and he actually found that line, and then he found that line, and then he spent ever since he read that letter afterwards, he was angry, and I thought he would end up saying like he was angry at himself too, because then the entire time anyway, he thought that there was something so inherently wrong with him or something bad about him that must have drawn or pushed Dexter away, because then Dexter wouldn't want to be involved with him if he had any of these dark tendencies. So then he spent the next few years hating himself and actually thinking there was something wrong with him that was either waiting to manifest or had already manifested, and then Dexter detected it, and then he just kind of left and never came back and everything. So, you know, I think part of me feels like it would be easy for that too, because I think that is essentially what happened to Daniel Vogel too. Like his parents abandoned him, like he had dark tendencies, and he had displayed them. But then afterwards, they both kind of locked him in, like had him sent to like a mental institute and everything. So then that abandonment because of what he had already done, but then also his continued dark tendencies also kind of got to him, and he had turned him into a serial killer. So then, you know, you could kind of help but wonder maybe if like that kind of might be the path that Harrison is headed down, and you know, it's also exactly the one that Dexter wants to avoid so badly. So I do not know. Good enough thing, he ended up actually bonding with some of the kids, especially with Audrey, and I think even from the beginning, like Angela mentioned Audrey being around the same age as him, and maybe he could then hang out with her and some of the other kids who were actually his own age, and actually socialize with some more age appropriate kind of people. So him talking to Audrey actually pretty much had happened from the beginning. They kind of bonded and started chatting from the beginning, and then he even kind of somewhat made friends with the other kids when he managed to actually pick the lock and actually get them inside that kind of drug spot kind of cabin thing too. And it was all going well until they started asking questions, and then that got him uncomfortable, and then he left, and then apparently for being uncomfortable and leaving, he was the weird one. Apparently that, and also the fact that apparently them not knowing anything about him doesn't in their head translate to something like privacy and like any sense of personal space, because then, you know, like, why would that matter to these people? But no, it then kind of turns him into the weirdo that they suddenly need to investigate to make sure that he's not kind of doing anything weird or tracking them or manifesting or anything like that. So yeah, and then of course on the way in, he does walk in on them actually rifling through his stuff, and even at the end, like as he walks in there, we're putting it back. So I do wonder, maybe, because it's clear even from that angle that, you know, the Audrey was actually trying to get the stuff back in, and to tell the others to actually leave it alone and stuff. So I'm wondering if maybe he did kind of see it that way too, or maybe if he just thinks that they got lucky in putting it away before, like just before he came back and everything. So, but either way, it's a massive invasion of privacy. Like they went through his stuff, and they, you know, actively tried to dig up dirt on him or actually find out who he was and everything. So it's just absolute bullshit. So I mean, yeah, but again, apparently these people have at least those two boys. Apparently those two boys have no sense of actual privacy or boundaries or, you know, anything like that. So great guys to be around. So yeah. But he did at least bond with Audrey. And actually managed to talk to her a little bit. So then that was cool. So seeing that kind of friendship and that kind of interaction happening was actually really, really cool. So that was fun. That was fun. And then later on down the line, we actually found out that Angela adopted Audrey as well. So she's not actually her bio mother. She actually adopted Audrey somewhere down the line too. So that's cool. But then, what's not so cool? I mean, fair play to her for having any kind of reason whatsoever. I think I think she herself is entitled to actually kind of finding the birth mother, and then Audrey herself is also entitled to her right to search for her, or not search for her in any way. So then, I think fair play to her for not wanting to actually, to actually look up the birth mother, or to actually decide that she's actually okay with keeping Audrey to herself, and actually she's actually okay with actually raising her by herself too. But then her line of thinking that she didn't want to, she'd spent her entire career and almost the entire adult life actually looking for women who were missing, and to actually help find them and to bring them back to safety and everything. But then Audrey's mother, for having actually for having given Audrey up for adoption too, because of that, in her words apparently a woman who abandons her baby, she didn't think she deserved to be found, so she's like, oh fuck that woman, she's she's gone, she's out of the picture now. So I think that kind of dialogue, that kind of line of thinking too, just didn't really kind of rub me the right way, because I think that there's a different story behind everyone who gives up a baby, gives up a child for adoption or whatever. I think it's different people's stories, different people's choices. Some people have abortions, some people have the baby, but they actually go through it, and maybe they push themselves, or maybe they actually have it but then give it up for adoption. What everyone does is up to them. It's completely their choice, their life, their choice. If you're not at all prepared to actually have a child and to actually raise it, then you're not prepared to do that. It's absolutely in pretty much everyone involved's best interest to actually do it when they're good and ready, and to do it when they feel like they're actually at a place and a time, and also when they actually want to do it too. So I think Audrey's biological mother, the fact that she gave Audrey up shows that she either that she either wasn't in a position to raise a child, or that she wasn't ready to have one. I think had she gone through with it, she likely would have ended up making Audrey's life even worse by forcing her into an environment where her own mother wasn't prepared or ready or able to actually provide for her in a way that was needed. So adoption adoption in itself is not some kind of easy peasy alternative to to anything, to actually giving birth or abortions or anything. It's not some kind of quick and easy alternative. It's a very, very kind of bureaucratic kind of process that takes time and loads of evaluations, and it's a very, very lengthy process before you can actually officially call the child your adopted child or anything. So God knows how long it took for Angela to actually be able to adopt Audrey, but then it's a possibility, and it's an option that people would definitely consider, and people definitely go through with it. And if people do, then more power to them. They absolutely reserve the right to actually do with their life what's best for them, and also best for the child too. Again, it's also best for the child. If the child is brought into that environment, then they're not going to thrive in a way that they deserve to, because then they're not going to be with the parent who in that moment is either willing or able to provide for them in a way that matters. So then that line of dialogue just kind of irked me. You really don't know, she never really once bothered to actually search for the woman either. She kind of made a judgment call based on the fact that she gave up Audrey to begin with, and then thought, oh, she must have abandoned her baby, so then she doesn't really deserve to be looked for, she doesn't really deserve to be notified of anything that might happen, and she doesn't really deserve to be given any kind of shred of respect even behind her back or anything. So that kind of line of thinking, if you don't know the story, then you really shouldn't kind of be making those judgment calls, and especially in this context too. So I think that kind of that kind of mindset was the only thing that really kind of irked me. But then Audrey kind of she's Audrey, Angela, she still raised Audrey to be a strong, fierce, and passionate young woman too. So she cares about the world around her and the people around her, and she's very, very kind of proactive, and she's very, very very, very inclusive, or hopefully kind of very inclusive, with all the different kind of causes that she fights for and everything. So she's clearly raised a proactive and caring young woman. So props to her for that too. So yeah, it clearly worked out in the end. So that much is commendable. So that's cool. That's cool. And then last but not least, the girl in the hotel room. I believe her name was Lily. I believe her name from the last episode was Lily, but she was the one who I'm pretty sure she was also the one that Angela spoke to in the bar in the bar at the end of the last episode where the whole dancing thing was going on. She was one she spoke to because at first the girl was gonna actually take a bus out of town again and stuff, but then I was gonna say Julie again. Angela gave her money, I think, for like a hotel, but then also actually, I think she gave her money for like a hotel or something. But then she also did actually, for like I think money for like a bus fare or like a hotel or something. I think like she gave her enough money so that she could actually save the rest of it for something else. I think she and then she actually told her about the shelter that would actually house her if she needed to, and then it would be open and welcoming her to her for as long as she needed. So there was that. But then, I think she ended up in a hotel. I think she must have ended up in some kind of like a hotel, like a really dodgy hotel, like a really super dodgy hotel. So there was that. But then she was in a hotel room, and there was like a hidden camera. There was a hidden camera in one of the lights in the kind of corner dressing kind of table kind of piece. So there was that, and she was just being watched the entire time. And she woke up one morning, and she went out and she found chocolates and champagne in her room too. I think chocolate covered strawberries too. So I mean, okay, I mean, I'm gonna kind of go back on my word, like contradict my words just a little bit too. So, so I mean, I did say before I don't trust people who do that. I did say that I don't trust people who cover kind of fruits in chocolates and other kind of sweet condiments and everything. So I'm gonna go back on that. I mean, the people, people who like that. If you like that, then of course more power to you. You're allowed to like and eat whatever you want. That's up to you. But I will say that I think that like the where the distrust lies for me is the actual food item in itself. I don't trust fruits that are covered in sweet condiments. I don't trust I don't trust chocolate covered strawberries. Where I mean, with this one you can easily tell. I think because like chocolate strawberries are bigger and they have like a very very kind of unique strawberry shape to them, so you can probably easily tell this is an actual kind of strawberry covered in chocolate too. And I think especially if it's a sauce too, then that's kind of like you really have to kind of cover it properly and really thickly to try and cover up any kind of any kind of signs that it's a strawberry or something. So even then it'd be pretty obvious. But then you got like but then you have like chocolate covered raisins too, like that kind of stuff. I think that is first time I think I actually reached into a bag of that and thinking maybe it was actually chocolate covered nuts or just just little bits of chocolate shredded up into a bag or something, and I actually picked one out and actually bit into it really passionately, and only to find out it was a fucking raisin. Because I don't hate raisins, but I just really don't like them. I'm not like the biggest fan of raisins. I think actually then biting into like a presumably chocolatey chocolate piece, and then only to find out it was actually chocolate covering a raisin. I just it's just like it's just like I don't know if I've ever I don't know if I've ever felt. I don't know if I've ever felt more misled in my life. Besides from that moment, like that one. I think there's few times where it actually works. I think carrot cake, I'm okay with carrot cake. I think mixing sweet and savory in that way, like mixing fruit and veg with really sweet kind of like items like candies and cake items and like baked goods and stuff like that, that kind of stuff. I think unless I can actually tell, like blueberry muffins. I like blueberry muffins and pancakes. Those things I'm perfectly fine with, because then you can really kind of still tell, and it's clearly advertised as such. Like then, because then blueberry muffins and chocolate muffins will look incredibly different too. Like chocolate will have the kind of that kind of chocolate topping over it because it's chocolate chips and everything, and the blueberry will have the blue over it, so that kind of shows you clearly it's a blueberry muffin. But then chocolate covered like strawberries and raisins, unless you know exactly what the shape of a raisin and strawberries like, you probably won't be able to tell what that is. And then there's other stuff like caramel. I think caramel covered apples might also be an exception too, because again, it's shaped too much like an apple for you to be able to really think of it in any other way. So there's that. So yeah, I don't know, but it just irks me, like seeing that kind of stuff. I mean, again, if you like it, more power to you. If you like it, absolutely more power to you. You again, it's still food. It's still food. You can definitely still eat it. Unless it's gonna be as dodgy as it was in the actual show, then you can definitely still eat it, and you definitely still enjoy it to your heart's content. So absolutely more power to you. But in this case, the chocolate covered strawberries and the champagne, presumably both, were spiked or dodgy in some way, because then she spent the next kind of few hours just kind of retching into the sink and and everything. So there was that whole thing. But we kept on cutting back and forth throughout the episode to that kind of like to that setting too. So I think over time she kind of like she had fun. She had the champagne and the chocolates, and then she threw up, and then that happened, and then she just went back to bed, and then she tried to wake up and find her phone, but then she couldn't do that. So then over time things got more and more dire, and she became more and more like less and less aware of what the true nature of the room actually was. And then there was someone watching her the entire time. I think we got like a nice kind of crystal clear shot of the eye too, like the eyes, and I think there's like a nice kind of blue to them, so someone with blue eyes. And I think I noticed like a white eyebrows too, so I think maybe like an older man too, maybe like an actual older man who has like grays around his kind of face as well as actual kind of head too. So I don't know, but someone with blue eyes and grey eyebrows is watching her, or was watching her. And I think maybe they could have been in the same building. Maybe they could have been in the same building, or like maybe just kind of somewhere more remote. Maybe. But either way, the hotel was hell. The hotel turned into hotel hell, because then by the end of it, she discovered the camera, and then under the camera. I mean, yeah, I really don't think there was anything actually written under the camera when we as the audience first saw it. I think there was no handwriting under there then, to my knowledge. But then by the time she woke up again and actually tried to find a way out and stuff like that, then the writing showed up. So then clearly someone managed to sneak in and do the writing, and then sneak out and actually take the doorknob with them, because then that final door that she tried to open, the doorknob was gone, so she couldn't really kind of do anything with it. So that was that. But then the writing also said, "You're already dead." So clearly the hotel itself is some kind of like hotel of death, or some kind of like mass murder kind of hotel type thing. So yeah, so hopefully I don't know, I thought it was going to be like, "Oh, you're already dead," and then she actually stumbles back on the floor, and then maybe she actually stumbles back on the chair in shock, but then she slips off, and then her head hits the railing or something, and I thought it was going to be like, "Oh, you're already dead," so then you actually stumble back and fall and have like an accident, and then you end up dying or bleeding out or something. So there's that. But then no, I think we have yet to see how she actually does die, if she is meant to die. So I think that may well be the new murder kind of mystery plot of the season, like some kind of hotel killer, like some kind of hotel room kind of massacre or something. So I don't know, I guess we'll see. But yeah, that seems to be the new story for this episode, so that's fun. But yeah, that is pretty much all I got from this one. Pretty much all I got. So interesting continuation, interesting stuff on Harrison and his past, and how he's moving forward now too. So now we have Harrison hopefully settling into. I think they definitely explored how, if he's really going to stay here, then he's going to need to actually set up a life, because I think he's really got nowhere else to go. I do wonder if he actually bothered to contact anyone from the Miami Metro PD, like once he got back to Miami, if he did try and see if anyone that he remembered from his dad's old work days was actually working at the Miami Metro, or if he knew to try there, if he actually knew to try there, or if he just kind of decided against it or something. But now he's back with his dad, and he's home, and he's in Iron Lake now, so now, if he really is going to have a life here and stuff, then he's going to have to get settled in. Like she had a point, he was going to have to get settled into it. He'd have to, start his education again, and actually get back to school, and actually try and do some hard work this time, and actually do stuff, and do that, and then get him a car, and actually getting him settled into Iron Lake as his home, and actually as his place and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting seeing how Harrison's story progresses as we move forward, seeing how he settles into this new life and everything, and then how Dexter deals with this constant influx of all these different dilemmas, and now this new kind of hotel room murderer person kind of being on the run and torturing people and kidnapping them and everything. So we'll see exactly how stuff goes from here on out. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got from this one. So that was Dexter, New Blood, Season 1, Episode 2. Or just Episode 2. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Dexter, New Blood. Once again, the full length reaction over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.